People weren't laughing at me anymore. They were laughing because of me. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I enjoy the most. The more you know yourself, the more powerful you become. Understanding others makes you powerful, but understanding yourself makes you fearless. There's no limit.
This episode is sponsored by AI Your Superpower. Want to get seen, chosen, and recommended by AI? Go to aeo.iyoursuperpower.com and download your free AI visibility playbook to stand out and grow with clarity.
Hello, and welcome back to Happiness by Habit, Season 2, AI as your superpower. Now, you know, we love all things systems, mindset, and tech. But today, we are switching gears into a different kind of magic, the kind that doesn't come from algorithms or automations, but from presence, connection, and jaw-dropping moments of wow. My special guest is a friend, a person that I admire, and he's really interesting gentleman that I'm going to introduce you. He's bilingual and a mastermind reader and a magician who helps companies turn ordinary events into unforgettable experiences that spark conversation, connection, and laughter. With 30 plus years of international experience, he's helped global companies create events that people talk about for weeks. My friend Armando Vera, also known as the Ace Man. Welcome to the show, my friend Armando.
Thank you very much, Silvana, for having me here.
So excited, so excited. Let's get started. Let's start with your story and more importantly about how the Ace Man came to life. When did magic go from hobby to calling?
Well, let me tell you that magic saved my life. I discovered magic when I was very little. When I was 9 years old, I tried to kill myself because I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't happy. I was carrying guilt that weren't mine. And overall, I was always sad. I learned that love, or the kind of love that I learned, came through pain, through many different circumstances. And fortunately, I was so young, I didn't know what I was trying to do. And of course, I wasn't successful. But then I discovered magic for the very first time. And when I presented it to my friends and my family, something amazing happened. For the very first time, I felt seen and valued. People weren't laughing at me anymore. They were laughing because of me. And at that point, I connected with a part of myself that I didn't know existed, with my essence, with my true calling. And that's when I realized this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I enjoy the most. And I've been doing magic since I was pretty much 12 years old.
Love that story. Wow, that's very touching. And thank you for sharing such a deep story with us, Armando. And let's talk about the transformation from magic, from Armando the magician into the Ace Man.
Sure. And this is a really, to me, it's really interesting because it shows me the power of making the right decisions. For a long time, I was very insecure. I didn't love myself and I always questioned my choices. And I mean, I love magic, but I always combine it with some other ventures like opening a dry cleaning business or working for a finance company or whatever. I never had the confidence in myself to go full time. And even though I was able to accomplish very uh, good things with my career as a magician, I never make the decision of going full time. And then I met Silvana Pimentel at an
Ah,
AI conference in San Diego. Later, I live in Las Vegas, and she came to a conference in Las Vegas and she invited me to attend it. And from that meeting, I ended up traveling to Orlando also to another conference that Silvana referred me to. And there, destiny had it. I met another person that made me realize if you always wear an ace in your pocket when you're performing, you should be the ace man. And that gave me an identity. It made me different. It made me different than everybody else. I was no longer just Armando Vera, the magician. I became the ace man, sleight-of-hand specialist for social and corporate events. And now you can see it in my background. You can see it in my business cards. And I'm also transitioning on my website and on my social media. So thank you, Silvana.
It was my pleasure, and I love that story. I got goosebumps. And that other person is Kat Hulson, which is also amazing, and she's super good, and she's also your brand, and I see the effect of your brand. Like I see the presence, how your presence change throughout your social media, and it's much more powerful. I love the Ace Man and the person you have become, Armando. I'm so excited to be part of that transformation. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the power of magic. And you mentioned something super powerful, which is say it saved your life. What is your reason? What is your why? What inspires you to continue with the Ace Man? And how? What is the effect you want to see on the people you work with?
Okay. Well, my reason, my why, first of all, are my children. And not only that, I love doing magic because that's what I'm calling to do. And I'm no longer questioning it. I know that's what I'm in this world, to bring laughter, to amazement, and to help people reconnect with their inner child, that part of yourself that sometimes we deny or we forget that it exists. And it's so important that we acknowledge our inner child. And with magic, it awakens that passion, that little children. And that's something that I cannot describe it with words. It's something that you have to experience, something you have to live. And you have seen me perform before, and you know that the experience when you see it live is something that you remember for a long time because it touches that inner child in yourself.
Absolutely, and as I have experienced your magic, I really can attest to that amazingness and the power of your act, because it's not just a show you do; it's something that involves interaction, and it helps you be seen and to be heard and to be part of this amazing moment. So it's really special, and I would definitely encourage anybody who is considering doing an event to hire somebody like Armando, because he can make a difference and make this moment memorable and special that people will not forget. And a moment, an opportunity to connect with each other, which is, I think, the key of your magic of the experience, I would say.
When you're on a conference, you want to change their state of mind to make sure they learn. And when I come in and I do a presentation and I illustrate it with magic, but also talk about the features and the benefits or the message that the company wants to convey to employees or to their clients, they are no longer watching a lecture. They are being motivated, they are having fun, and also at the same time, they are learning. And the visual aids that I use with magic helps them remember them for a long, long time.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. And let's talk about that, the power of being memorable and the power of being chosen. How to that it has been key, and then you have experienced that as part of your process into becoming the ace man. What is important to take into consideration to be remembered and to develop that powerful magnetic personal brand?
Well, I believe that in order to get the most out of you, first of all, you have to understand who you are and accept who you are with your pluses and your minuses. Because a lot of times we try to be perfect, and that's impossible. No one is perfect. So if we embrace who we truly are and we just make it bigger and better, you will have no competition because there's no other one like you. Your uniqueness is very important. Don't try to be somebody else. Try to be the best version of yourself. That would be my number one recommendation to anyone. And the more you know yourself, the more powerful you become. I heard this saying that understanding others makes you powerful, but understanding yourself makes you fearless. There's no limits if you understand yourself. So
Wow.
that would be one of my recommendations. Work on yourself. Never stop working on yourself.
I love that.
You
And
deserve.
you are definitely a living proof of that, because one thing I want to showcase about you is that you are open always to learn more, and you are open to opportunities, and that's what brought you to be where you are today. I think that openness is very important to continue improve yourself, because a lot of people now, especially in a day in a time where everything is evolving so quickly, it's very important to continue improve yourself and your knowledge and implement what you learn, which is also very critical, and you are really amazing on that.
That's a key point because Yeah, there's a lot of people that go to conferences, they watch webinars, they attend meetings, and they just learn and learn and learn, but they don't take any action. And probably I was one of them. But yeah, knowledge is only potential power. When you apply it, that's when it becomes the power.
Absolutely. We need to stop learning and start implementing, which you are doing amazingly. That's great. That's great. I would like to say also, touch a little bit deeper on the power of authenticity. When we come from a place where we want to help or impact the other people positively, and we want to make this world a better place with what we do, we can be more successful naturally because we're coming from a place of abundance where we want to help, we want everybody to improve. I remember one saying that goes, people will forget what you say, but will always remember how you make them feel.
That's correct.
That's so, and I was like, wow, this is important. The experience that one lives with your magic, I would say, is a very special place to be. Like from the spectator point of view, it's like it's a very involving dynamic, and it's really good, and you make the public feel good, and that's the goal and mission accomplished, Mario.
Yeah, being authentic is very important. And let me just share with you a very brief story about that. One
Mhm.
night I was performing at the Boca Raton Resort in Florida, where I was the resident magician for about 7 years. And I
Uh-huh.
approached this couple. They were by themselves at a bar. I struck a conversation with them, and then I showed them some magic. At the end, she excused herself to go to the bathroom, and the husband took out $100 bill, tipped me, and said, "Thank you very much. You have no idea what you just did." I was like, No, tell me." She's like, "You made her laugh." And I was thinking, well, I appreciate that, but that's always my goal, to make sure people have a good time. And then he explained me, "No, you don't realize. We just came from her mother's funeral
Oh,
and you made her laugh. You
wow.
changed her state of mind. She was able to enjoy herself and forget all her sadness and her grief for a few minutes." And that's something that stuck with me, because you never know what's going on somebody
Mhm.
else's mind. And if you're able to give them happiness or get a laugh out of them or show them something that awakens that little kid, it's priceless.
Yes, I love that. Very special. And speaking of that, I remember, well, my daughter Sabrina, who is 9 years old, and she launched her podcast. You were her first guest. You did a
Oh,
magic trick with her, and she was like, but she was like so literally like, wow, you took her to a place where she was like in disbelief. She couldn't believe you made the magic before her eyes. So that was very powerful. And you captured that authenticity, and then give her a pic. She had a nice time during the interview and everything. So definitely that's very important, how you make the other people feel, and you can kind of transport them into a like a good place, no? Like you improve their life even for a moment. That's very special.
now that you mentioned the interview I had with your daughter, Sabrina, a couple of things happened that were very interesting because she's so young. She's 12,
Nine, nine.
9. Yeah. So she's still a kid. She asked me a question that I saw her reaction. And even though at her being 9 years old, she got it. She asked me, "What would you tell your younger self now?" And I told her, "I will tell him something it took me a long time to say to my younger self. I love you." And I remember she paused, she thought about it, and she told me, "That's very good." And it was a great moment that I experienced with her, because when I was her age, that's when I was thinking to end my life, and realized she is able to be at 9 years old doing what she loves and learning from other people. That was awesome. Um, it
Oh
was
my
great to be
God.
part of that. And I'm glad that I was able to be first guest.
Yes, absolutely. We will put that episode here on the notes also, so people can see that episode of the podcast of Sabrina. It's called Brave Talks with Sabrina. Very good. Oh my God, so special. So like with Sabrina, like you make her think and look at the impact her with that answer, right, to her question. And is that also a goal of you? Like you want to make a difference in the kids and everybody's life, and to make them sing and to make them feel appreciated through your magic?
Yes, that's my goal. My goal is to make sure people are happy. At least for a moment, they will leave that sense of wonder. The same thing that happens when you go to a movie and you watch something that makes you cry or makes you get excited. I try to do the same thing in real life. It's
Mhm.
very, very important because very few moments in our lives touch us in that deep. And that is always my goal. And one time I heard something from the great actor Robin Williams, who was known for his comedy and how wild he was. And he said something like, sometimes the people that make you laugh the most, they do it because they don't want you to suffer what they suffer inside themselves. And well, we know what happened to him in the end. He was
Yeah.
always animated and he was always making people laugh, but probably inside he wasn't completely happy. And that happened to me for a long time. And that's why magic was my tool to communicate. But now that I understand it and I accept that it's my mission, I have so much fun. Sometimes I have even more fun than my audience, but we always have blast.
That's what it matters. That's why I think it's very critical and important that you're sharing your story. You're opening your heart out and telling us, being vulnerable for a moment and telling us how the reality of what happened in your life, which I think people can appreciate because that might be something that they are experiencing now and they can see a way out. That there is a way to go about that and to kind of deal with those feelings and there is a way out basically because a lot of times now with what happened to Robbie Williams and to your aunt and to many people in the world is that we need to be careful and be mindful of what the others are feeling and how they are feeling and a lot of times because they might be looking like they are happy but no, they might be suffering inside. So by you opening up, I think it opens a really special opportunity for them to show themselves like what they are experiencing and most importantly, make a difference in their lives.
Yeah, and something that I would like to share is that we are our toughest critics, but you don't have to seek perfection. There's always, no matter what you're going through right now, remember that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And in that light, there's a bigger and better version of you waiting to embrace you and hug you. So, whatever is going on right now, keep in mind, it's going to be in the past soon. You may not like what you have to endure right now, but you're going to become stronger and you're going to be a
Mhm.
much better person.
I love that. Absolutely. Well, Armando, it's been such a pleasure to have you in the podcast. And you are a person that I admire and I appreciate having you as my friend. So I would like to thank you for being in that show. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with? Any final message before we close the episode today?
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you also for your friendship and for everything you have done for me. And without your help, I wouldn't be here standing as the ace man and with all of the transformation that I've been going through recently. And also, I would like to invite anyone that is planning either a social or a corporate event. If you want to make it unforgettable, entertaining, and fun, contact the ace man. I can help you.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure to put your contact info here on the episode notes. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, my friend Armando, and to anybody listening. If this episode spoke to you and you feel like you would like to share it with somebody who might need to hear this, please go ahead and share this episode with a friend of a colleague that might be needing to hear this message. And if you are looking to do an event or create a memorable, unforgettable experience, please go ahead and contact Armando. I think you will be very pleased with the results. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you next time in Happiness by Habit. Bye bye.